Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the beginning of your weekend. And today we're going to talk about collecting desires and finding a direction to where you want to collect. I guess the really big question in all of this is, what do you want to gain out of collecting coins? Is it something that you want to be able to collect and then having the peace of mind that it'll be worth something when it's time to sell? Sometimes we get into collecting, okay, and we'll collect on for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then all of a sudden there's just this internal mechanism within ourselves that just says, you know what, I'm really not feeling it, I'm not digging it anymore, and it's time to get out. So to minimize some of the brain damage associated with selling coins and then feeling like you're not getting enough for it, it's always good to know right off the get-go exactly what type of coins will net you the most amount of money. Okay, if you were to specialize in any one, either denomination or series in US coinage or Canadian coinage or any coinage around the world for that matter, because there's rarities that exist throughout all the countries, it's always good to know exactly the comparisons when it comes to realized prices future down the road. So I have 3 coins illustrated here for you, and real simple, okay? If I ask you this question, which one of these 3 coins is worth the most amount of money in its current grade? The whole reason why that I guess a lot of beginning collectors like to gravitate toward coins of not only numismatic value but also intrinsic value, which is the metal content, is that, you know, it's a two-way street. You know, you're kind of safeguarded one way or the other. You can either sell it for the silver value or you could sell it for the premium numismatic value, like high-graded coins. Whereas, say that coin right smack dab in the middle, the nickel, we wouldn't think about it being worth a lot of money, because if we were to take a period in time, let's say 1960. In 1960, they made silver coinage in dimes, quarters, and half dollars, but nickels, nobody paid any attention to nickels because they're made, you know, out of a composition of copper and nickel. Okay, so they weren't worth more because of the metal content that is in those coins. So it's really easy to downplay the valuable nature of nickels. But out of these 3 coins, and these are coins that have sold all on one day through one auction, and that's great collections. And what if I told you that one of these coins sold for in excess of $2,700, and it wasn't the 2 silver coins that you see highlighted on there? Would you believe me? All right, and that is the case. Let's start with and I picked coins from all of the same time frames. So the 1950 Roosevelt dime is an attractive looking dime. It's got a little bit of color. It's a nice high grade. If I'm not mistaken, it was a PCGS Mint State 66 example. However, in that grade level for a 1950, it's sold for around $35. The Franklin half dollar is an extremely beautiful coin. Okay, it predates the Kennedy series, so it gives it kind of that classical feel. It feels like you're collecting something older than it actually is. And it is, out of the 3 that you see here, the most obsolete coin that you could find today. And this one, at an NGC Mint State 64, sold for only $35 as well. So the dime and the half dollar sold for the same amount of money. Okay, that's interesting. Now this simple plain Jefferson nickel right down the middle is a 1948S. This was the one that sold for over $2,700. Okay, and it's kind of mind-boggling when you hear that, and the shock in comparison to the other coins around it. But if I were to tell you specifically why, okay, then you know, it all makes sense, because everything is about grade. more people hoarded the beautiful, nicer silver coinage during the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They were spent as less as nickels. Okay, if you know, some of us are old enough to remember, you could buy a few gumballs with a nickel. You could buy a soda for a nickel. So nickels were expendable. They were used and abused, and they weren't hoarded in the higher grades. That's why if you were to look at collecting any one type of coin, the nickels were I'm not going to say frowned upon, I guess, but they were paid least attention to because of the factorization of the metal composition. Now let's look at another comparison. If you were to find a full roll, take 3 full rolls, a full roll of silver dimes, all BU, a full roll of regular nickels, preferably all single date, like let's say 1955, and a full roll of 1955 Franklin halves. Okay, if you were to look at a full cost comparison, and let's just use gray sheet values, a roll of BU silver dimes 1955 is right around $115. That full roll of 1955 Franklin half dollars is close to $400 in BU form. That full roll of 1955 Jefferson nickels is going to be right around $25, $30. It's strange, right? Because it's for a coin to sell for over $2,000, there has to be something special about it. And those people out there that like to cherry pick high graded coins and then send them in for grading, that's where they're making the most amount of money. Excuse me. And they're overlooking the silver coins because it's just way too easy. The thing that gives a huge nod to Jefferson nickels is the striking characteristics. As you can see from this graded slab picture of that coin that I had highlighted earlier in the video, obviously it's a mint state 67 with full steps. It's the strike designation that makes this worth all sorts of money. So if we were to take all of the information that I've compiled up to this point, we factored in cost of obtaining BU rolls, or factored in cost of buying singular coins, it is plain to see that the nickels are a huge bargain, especially for a beginning coin collector that's just getting into numismatics. And it's a great entryway into learning more about the series. Okay, same with Franklin half dollars. If you wanted to go and collect Franklin half dollars, starting out, you'll learn about the dates. You'll learn about the designer. You'll learn about the history, how long this series lasted. It was a short-lived series. It went on from 48 to 63. So in 15 years, they made a number of these. And as you go on down the line, you're going to figure out, okay, there is such a thing as full bell lines. There is such a thing as double die reverses. Okay, there is a notable one for 60, was it 63 or 60? That's worth a lot of money. So as you learn more about the series, you're going to learn more about the little nuances that make the coins inherently valuable. Okay, and that's ultimately what we're going to be looking at when we go to collect a series. There's nothing wrong with collecting like a type hodgepodge, you know, just like one of everything. You're not going to know as much as far as educationally, but you'll get an idea of what all the coins look like, and maybe that's something that'll help you kind of drill down into a specific series that will, you know, give you satisfaction and joy as you go on through this wonderful hobby. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you know, I appreciate a like hit on the bottom of the video. And if you haven't subscribed to Blue Ridge Silverhound, please do so. A lot of great content that you will receive firsthand as I upload them. I want to thank everyone again for joining in this morning, and you know, I hope you guys have a safe Saturday, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.